let's go over a new feature that's really important to IPFS Redirect because we can now resolve Web3 domains. I'm really excited about sharing this part of the project and the update, but just so you know, if you have not watched the original tutorial on IPFS Redirect, go watch it. I'm not going to slow down to talk about all the other features and what it's supposed to do. This is in addition to that video, so I'm not going to slow down for that. And one other thing as well, this was built so it only works as of right now with unstoppable domains, and the domain name does have to be Ethereum based. I did make it so it can pretty easily update in any other direction and add other things and support other things in the future, but I just don't want to support something that not only am I not going to be using, but this is a fun side project for me, and I'm open sourcing it. I'm not earning any money from this, and I really don't want to spend money on something that I'm doing for free. But anyways, let's briefly show you, first of all, what exactly was added, because I'm really excited about this. So, first, let me show you this. I added this new addition right here. So what's actually happening here is if you check this box, this will no longer be disabled. So that's going to be disabled by default because it has to work with this. But if this and this are both checked, this is where something cool is going to happen. So here's my IPFS, or not my IPFS, but my Web3 domain that's hosted with Unstoppable Domains. And we're going to generate this link. And what we're going to do, we're going to go to this link, and it's actually going to take me directly to it. There was no extension required. There was no setup required. It did it for you. And the coolest part, it happened all client side. Most of it. There's a couple things that you need to understand about this, but it's a really cool addition. Look, we resolved the Web3 domain. That's awesome. You can now send somebody a IPFS redirect link with your Web3 domain, and it will always be sent to the newest and most recent CID that's posted with your domain. So it's always going to be updated, which is awesome. I'm going to be releasing the library with it as well, but this makes it really easy, additionally, for you to actually build your website in such a way that you can have a version update button, and you click this, and it takes you to the newest version. Because on a Web3 or on a Web3 website, you're usually stuck on that version. And with the library that I'll be releasing alongside this as well, you're going to be able to detect if your current site is actually the most recent version. I did build this library as well, both in C# and in JavaScript. So if you want to use it on your front end, use it on your front end. If you want to use it on your back end REST API, like I have use cases for, you can now use it on both. So I was really happy about this, and let me very briefly explain to you exactly what is happening here and why this is different. But just as a reminder, as of right now, all of these domains should be resolvable. Anything that's unstoppable domains will always be resolvable by this. These should also be resolvable, most likely, as long as you got it through unstoppable domains. Do make sure you test it. But I might expand that in the future. It just depends. So hit me up on GitHub or something if you care to change that aspect. Anyways, the way this is working, I made a new project actually, that it's its own version that actually works side by side with IPFS Redirect, that it's going to recognize this new parameter that's being added to the URL. And it's called Resolve Web3 Domain. So when IPFS Redirect actually recognizes that this is a Web3 address and that it's supposed to be auto-resolved, it's going to send all the parameters that are currently on the link, and it's going to send them and ship them over to this Resolve Web3 domain address. And what's going to happen here is it's actually going to auto-update itself. It's going to find both the most recent Resolve Web3 domain address. So if I do make additions in the future, it doesn't matter which version you use, and it's going to use the most recent version of IPFS Redirect. And it does this by actually working directly with the blockchain. It's going to go and look and find your actual token ID and do a bunch of math for you, and it's going to work with a blockchain node actually, which it does use the Polygon public RCP address. I will be making an addition in the future in the spirit of decentralization that you can utilize your own local like setup if you have your own light node or a full node like a madman like I do. And then you can use your own and it'll be completely decentralized, but that's the only technical centralized part. But this is as close as you're getting to really working with your own blockchain or working with the blockchain. But it's really going to go and look in the blockchain, look in the transaction histories, and find what is the most recent version. It's going and doing that for you directly. And a lot of this is happening client side. Once it gets all this information, it takes the parameters that were passed with it, changes only two things, which is disabling the this and this right here, because it's no longer a Web3 domain. Because what it did is it got the most recent CID, and it effectively generates this back with all the original parameters, and it just changes the redirect URL to then say the CID version that it needs to be attached to. So really cool stuff, and it also converts it. So if you saved it with a, like if you did it manually, for example, and you actually saved this on the blockchain with a version 1 CID, it'll actually resolve back to the version 0, and it'll handle all that for you. So that's all really cool, actually. But yeah, it does everything for you. It's going to resolve for you. I'm really excited about it because, in my opinion, this makes my life a lot easier. I hate whenever I have an update, got to resend out the links. I want websites that can auto-update super easily, and this does that, and I'm super happy about it. And I think it's such a great addition to the code to be able to have this little link that now we're having on your client side be able to handle tons of really cool scenarios that we could not have handled before. And in my opinion, this is starting to make Web3 domains so much more useful. We're not reliant on the ICANN deal that will hopefully go through and be done by 2028, and that'll only get a certain amount of domains by unstoppable domains done by that time, which will be a lot. But this is just going to scale. It's super easy. So much is happening on your side, and this is exactly what I think we need, and this is what I want, and I'm happy to share it, and I hope it's useful to you.